Welcome to Communicate to Lead, the podcast that empowers leaders and aspiring leaders to communicate with clarity and impact. I'm Kele Belton, CEO and successful entrepreneur, and your host for today. I'm here to equip you with all the essential tools and strategies to master effective communication and lead your team to success. As the founder and CEO of The Tailored Approach, my goal is to empower you to be the best leader you can be. So sit back, relax, and join me in today's episode as we dive into the art of communicating like a true leader. Right now, all around, your colleagues are planning their summer vacations and mentally checking out until September, while you are quietly building the foundation for your next promotion. By the time Q4 performance reviews roll around, you'll be the obvious choice, not because you worked yourself into exhaustion, but because you played the long game strategically. If you've ever wondered why some women seem to effortlessly climb the corporate ladder while others with equal talent stay stuck, today's episode will change how you think about career advancement forever. Welcome back to Communicate to Lead. I am your host, Kele Belton, and today we are diving into something I call the RISE method, a 4-step strategic approach that positions you for Q4 promotions starting right now in July. This isn't about working harder or hoping someone notices your contributions. This is about creating a systematic approach that makes your promotion inevitable rather than accidental. In this episode, I'll walk you through each step of the RISE method, share real examples of how my clients are using these strategies, and give you specific actions you can implement immediately. By the end of the episode, you'll have a clear roadmap for the next 5 months that puts you in the driver's seat of your career advancement. Before we dive into the method, let's address the elephant in the room. Most promotion cycles happen during Q4 performance reviews, which means decisions about your future are being made between October and December. Here's what most women get wrong. They wait until October to start positioning themselves. Career advancement works like building your reputation. You can't start building your reputation in October and expect to be known as the expert by December. The women who get promoted in Q4 started planting their seeds months earlier, nurturing relationships, documenting wins, and strategically aligning themselves with organizational priorities. That's exactly what the RISE method helps you do. It's your 5-month roadmap that transforms you from someone hoping for recognition into someone who's impossible to overlook. The RISE method stands for research, initiate, showcase, and evaluate. Each step builds on the previous one, creating momentum that carries you confidently into promotion conversations. Let me give you the framework first. Then we'll break down each component. The R in RISE stands for research your landscape and requirements. The I means initiate strategic relationships and projects. S stands for showcase your impact and leadership. And the last E means evaluate and adjust your approach. Keep in mind that this is not a linear process where you complete one step and move on to the next. Instead, it's like conducting an orchestra. All sections need to work together to create the full symphony of your professional success. So let's start off with step 1, research your landscape and requirements. You'll spend July, that means this month, on this critical foundation work, and it goes far beyond reading job descriptions. You are going to conduct strategic intelligence gathering that most of your colleagues probably never think to do. Start by researching 3 critical areas: organizational priorities for Q3 and Q4, promotion criteria, and key stakeholders. First, dive into your organization's priorities for Q3 and Q4. What are the big initiatives? What challenges is leadership trying to solve? What metrics matter most? You can find this information in company documentation, communication, recent all-hands meetings, and by simply asking your manager directly, what are our biggest priorities for Q3 and Q4, and how can I contribute meaningfully to these goals? Here's what one of my clients, Lisa, discovered during her research phase last year. She learned that her company was struggling with client retention in a specific market segment. While her colleagues focus on their individual projects, Lisa identified this as her opportunity to demonstrate strategic thinking and business impact. Second, research actual promotion criteria, not what you assume they are, but what they really are. Schedule a conversation with your manager or your HR business partner and ask specific questions. What does success look like for someone at the next level? What skills or experiences do promoted candidates typically demonstrate? Can you share examples of recent promotions and what made those individuals stand out? This conversation alone sets you apart because it shows you are thinking strategically about your career development rather than leaving it up to chance. Third, map your key stakeholders. Who makes promotion decisions? Who influences those decisions? Who are the informal power brokers in your organization? Create a simple stakeholder map that identifies these individuals and your current relationship strength with each one. Your research phase sets the foundation for everything that follows. Without this intelligence, you are operating blindly. With it, you are operating strategically. Next up, step 2, initiate strategic relationships and projects. You'll spend August and September implementing what you discovered during your research phase. And this is where you begin building strategic momentum. Initiate strategic relationships with your key stakeholders. Notice I said strategic relationships, not networking. I'll say that again. Focus on strategic relationships, not networking. There is a significant difference between the two. Networking often feels transactional and superficial. Strategic relationship building is about creating genuine connections that benefit both parties. Reach out to those stakeholders you have identified with a specific purpose. Maybe you ask for their perspective on an industry trend. Perhaps you share an insight that could benefit their work. The key is leading with value rather than asking for something. One of my clients, Maria, used this approach beautifully. She identified the VP of operations as a key stakeholder and noticed he frequently mentioned challenges with cross-departmental communication in team meetings. Maria initiated a conversation by sharing a communication framework that we had been working on in our coaching sessions, which led her to be invited to present it to the leadership team. During these same months, initiate high visibility projects that align with Q3 and Q4 organizational priorities. Remember those challenges and initiatives you identified during your research? This is where you volunteer to be part of the solution. But here's the critical part. Don't wait to be asked. Initiate the conversation. Approach your manager with specific proposals. And you could easily say something like, I've been thinking about our Q3 and Q4 client retention goals, and I have some ideas about how we could improve our approach. Could I put together a proposal for your review? This proactive approach demonstrates leadership thinking. You are not waiting for direction. You, my friend, are providing it. Also, initiate documentation for your impact during this period. Start building what I call your promotion portfolio or folder, a living, breathing document that tracks your contributions, the business impact of your work, and the leadership skills you are developing. Most women underestimate the importance of documenting their achievements. You can't rely on your manager to remember everything you've accomplished 6 months from now. Take ownership of your story by capturing it as it happens. Step 3 means showcase your impact and leadership. You will spend October intentionally highlighting your impact and leadership capabilities. And this is where you make your contributions visible to the right people. Showcasing isn't about bragging or self-promotion. It's about strategic communication that ensures your contributions are visible to the right people at the right time. Create opportunities to present your work. Volunteer to lead team meetings. Present project updates to senior leadership, or share insights at company forums. Each presentation is an opportunity to demonstrate your communication skills, strategic thinking, and business acumen. Here's a well-established framework that works really well for this. It's called the CAR method, C-A-R. It's a storytelling approach to demonstrate your impact. And CAR stands for challenge, action, result. Every time you share your work, structure it as a story with 3 components: the challenge, the action you took, and the measurable result. For example, we were facing a 15% decrease in client satisfaction scores. I developed and implemented a new feedback system that increased our response time by 50% and improved satisfaction scores by 25% over 3 months. Also, showcase your leadership through mentorship and collaboration. Offer to mentor junior colleagues. So many times we think we are not ready or we're waiting for the next level before we think we have something to offer. You can mentor someone junior right now. You can lead cross-functional initiatives or facilitate team discussions. These activities demonstrate that you are already thinking and acting like someone at the next level. During October, schedule informal coffee chats with key stakeholders. Share updates on your projects and ask for their insights. This isn't about asking for the promotion. It's about ensuring they understand the value you bring to the table and that they can envision you in a more senior role. Remember, people support what they create. When stakeholders provide input on your work or offer suggestions, they become invested in your success. So why not take them up on that? And then finally, we get to step 4, which is evaluate and adjust your approach. You'll spend November assessing your progress and preparing for promotion conversations. And this is where you synthesize everything into a compelling case of advancement. Evaluate your impact objectively. Review the goals you set back in July and measure your progress. What have you accomplished? What challenges did you overcome? What leadership skills have you developed? Quantify your impact wherever possible. Numbers tell compelling stories. Create what I call your promotion presentation, a concise overview of your achievements, growth, and readiness for the next level. This isn't a formal presentation necessarily, but it's a clear narrative you can share confidently in promotion discussions. Structure this presentation around 3 key messages: the value you have created, the leadership you have demonstrated, and your vision for the next level. Practice delivering the story until it feels natural and confident. But do not learn, if you have created a script, do not learn it word for word. You will sound robotic. You will lose your passion. So it's better to have some talking points that you can practice, that you can remember, and then let your passion take over. Also, evaluate and strengthen your stakeholder relationships. Reach out to key influencers for feedback on your performance and development. Ask questions like, what growth have you seen in my leadership over the past few months? What areas should I focus on for continued development? These conversations serve multiple purposes. They demonstrate your commitment to growth, they provide valuable feedback, and they keep you top of mind as promotion discussions begin. And finally, evaluate your approach and adjust as needed. What is working well? What could you improve? How will you continue building momentum beyond the promotion cycle? These are some of the things to think about so that it's not a case of you get to November and you think, okay, this is done, I'm good, and then decide the next year to do it. You want to keep building on that momentum so that when you move into the next year, you know exactly where you want to take the conversations and the relationships that you have built. So let's make this concrete with specific actions you can take this month. Week 1 of July, conduct your organizational research, review recent company conversations and communications, identify key initiatives, and schedule that conversation with your manager about promotion criteria. Week 2 of July, create your stakeholder map and begin reaching out to key individuals. Start with 1 or 2 strategic connections rather than trying to network with everyone at once. Week 3 of July, identify 2 to 3 high visibility opportunities that align with Q3 and Q4 organizational priorities. Draft proposals or volunteer for existing initiatives. Week 4 of July, that's the last week, set up your documentation system. Create your promotion portfolio template and begin capturing your current projects and achievements. The key is consistent, strategic action rather than sporadic effort. Small, intentional steps taken consistently over 5 months will create significant momentum for you. And as you implement the RISE method, watch out for these common mistakes that can potentially derail your progress. First, don't skip the research phase. Many of us want to jump straight into action, but without proper research, your efforts may be misdirected. Spend some time understanding the landscape before you start building. Second, avoid the head down and work hard trap. Working harder is not the same as working strategically. Your goal is visibility and impact, not exhaustion. Third, don't wait for permission. If you wait for someone to invite you to step up, you might be waiting a very long time. So take initiative and create your own opportunities. Fourth, resist the urge to do everything perfectly. Progress beats perfection every single time. Start with what you can control and build momentum from there. And finally, don't neglect relationship building. Technical skills might get you noticed, but relationships get you promoted. I'll say that again. Technical skills might get you noticed, but relationships get you promoted. Invest time in connecting with others authentically and organically. So before we wrap up, let's address the mindset shift that makes the RISE method truly effective. Stop thinking about promotion as something that happens to you and start thinking of it as something you create. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are positioning yourself as the obvious choice. This shift changes everything about how you approach your work, your relationships, and your career development. Instead of hoping someone notices your contributions, your hard work, you ensure that they do. Instead of waiting for opportunities, you create them. The RISE method gives you a systematic approach, but your mindset determines whether you'll actually implement it. Embrace the idea that you deserve to advance, that your leadership is needed, and that advocating for yourself isn't selfish, it is necessary, and it is strategic. So the next 5 months will pass whether you implement the RISE method or not. The question is, will you end the year hoping for recognition, or will you end it with a promotion offer in hand? Remember, this isn't about working harder. It's about working strategically. It's about understanding that promotion isn't a reward for past performance. It is often an investment in future potential. Start with your July research this week. Identify one organizational priority you could contribute to meaningfully. Schedule that conversation with your manager. Reach out to one stakeholder with genuine value to offer. Small, consistent actions compound over time. By November, you'll be amazed at the momentum you have created and the opportunities that have emerged. And that's a wrap for today's episode. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear about your RISE method journey. Connect with me on social media and share your progress. I'm rooting for your success. You can find my social links in the show notes. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Remember, your leadership matters, your voice deserves to be heard, and your career advancement is within your control. Until next week, my friend, I am Kele, reminding you that great communication is the foundation of inspiring leadership. Keep learning, keep growing, and remember to communicate to lead.